the field has narrowed. We're down to just a few teams left in the area as we get ever so closer to state. With Ryan Osborne, I'm Travis Brown, DFWVARSITY.com. And last week's epic moment and continuing kind of epic season is Brock, who had a 21-20 win over Wall last week.
Yeah, they advanced to the state quarterfinals in their first season as a UIL program. We've actually are covering Brock football, which we haven't done. We haven't really covered much Brock at all because it's one of the smaller schools. But now their football program is starting to get a lot more attention, and rightfully so, because they beat the number 2 team in the state in Wall, a team, as you mentioned earlier, was a lot of people were picking them to win that 3A, be a contender for a 3A state title. This week they get Shallowater, another program that is perennially pretty good. And but I think you got to go with Brock. Why not? I think they've shown that they have the defense to slow a team down. They shut out Wall in the fourth quarter, and I think they have a running game that really gives them control of the game. I think that's what they did last week.
School known for their girls basketball is showing that they have a pretty good football program starting up as well. In the games that we have this week, first the big one, of course, EULESS Trinity versus Allen up at Denton's Apogee Stadium. What do you do? Do you think Trinity has what it can do to take down Allen?
Oh, I think they have more than what it takes to take down Allen. It's just a matter of if their defense can make plays. Trinity could go into this game and they don't have to throw. I don't think they have to throw at one time. I mean, they sometimes slow themselves down because they are so one-dimensional. But I think the way Martin was able to use their guards, pull blocking and scheming against Allen's defensive line successfully last week. I think if Martin was able to do that, which they're a pretty physical football team, but seeing what Martin did, I think Trinity's going to do that. Twice as much as Martin did. So I think they're going to be able to run the ball, score points. It just comes down to, can you limit Kyler Murray in the running game? Because Murray has been inconsistent throwing the ball. I think he was, in the first half last week, he was basically non-existent when it came to throwing the ball. Of course, he had the big runs, and that's always the thing with him. Even when they're down and about to get put away, as they were last week, Martin almost put them away. Murray had a 75-yard touchdown run with 20 seconds left in the first half. I think he is going to make plays on his feet. It's just a matter of limiting them to maybe 20 or 30-yard runs for a first down instead of 70 or 80-yard runs for a touchdown. If Trinity could do that, I think they win this game. And honestly, the way they have shown their ability to control the game in the rushing game, they should be able to control the line of scrimmage probably on both sides. It's just going to come down to making plays, and that's what it takes to beat a team that's won this many games.
Right. Martin pretty much laid the blueprint.
Yeah.
It's just a bigger, stronger Trinity team that'll be able to try to execute it. The only place that Trinity has had some trouble in the past is the pass defense. Teams like Coppell were able to move the ball pretty well. However, that being said, I think we've seen with Trinity, they've progressed, and they're a different team than even the last couple of regular season games, and a better team at that now in the playoffs. So I have Allen in that one, but it's going to be a very close game.
I'll go with Trinity for the upset, but I think it's a pretty evenly matched game.
All right. We have South Lake Carroll versus Cedar Hill over at SMU.
This is another great matchup. I think this is two other powerhouses in the area in the Division II bracket. I'll go with Carroll just because I think the way their defense is playing, they're showing they're able to be physical against pretty much every team they've played. And last week's game is San Angelo Central. I think that was kind of a mismatch for Central, but still, Carroll was able to go down to Waco and get a dominant win in the third round. And anytime you do that this late in the playoffs, that's impressive. But of course, on the other side, Cedar Hill with DeMarcus Lodge and Justin McMillan and their running backs and all the athletes they have, it should be a good one. I think Carroll will win a close one.
Big game for little Jordan Humphrey. Cedar Hill has shown that it can be a little bit shaky in the run defense, so losing to Mansfield and some of those other the teams they lost to this year. They showed that they weren't as sure in the run defense. So I think big game for Little Jordan Humphrey, maybe big game for Ryan Agnew running the ball as well. Canyon Randall versus ALEDO.
ALEDO's played Canyon Randall several times in the past, two or 3 years ago, I believe, in the playoffs, around this point in the playoffs. I think ALEDO's going to go out there and get a win. Usually they fare pretty well against these West Texas teams. I think they're starting to kind of hit a rhythm, hit a stride, especially defensively. They're starting to come around. I think ALEDO's going to get the win.
If you looked at the whole region that ALEDO had to go through, it's pretty much a smooth sailing them to the region final. I think this is just, again, another step step in that progression to get to the region final, and ALEDO will win. EVERMAN versus CANUTILLO.
CANUTILLO, they were supposedly the best team out of El Paso this year, and they've shown that by getting to the fourth round. The first time ever an El Paso team has gotten this far in the playoffs. But I think EVERMAN, the way they're able to run the ball, and not only that, there's nothing deceptive about it. CANUTILLO knows that EVERMAN's going to give the ball to Akira Crossley probably 30 to 40 times a game, but no one's been able to stop them, and he ran for 390 yards last week. I think that kind of role is hard to stop, especially when you get this late in the playoffs, and EVERMAN should be able to control this game, and they're used to going out west. Again, they were out there last year, Midland this week. So I think they handled themselves and get to the state semifinals.
I like EVERMAN too. I like Crossley. I like their running attack, and I like the way that they finished the season. They were a little bit on the wire. They had to do some stuff to get some good seeding, and so the playoffs started a little bit early for them, and I like how they geared up for it. So I'll take EVERMAN in that one. All right, real quick, no huddle. Dallas Skyline versus Klein Oak.
I'm going to go with Skyline. They're one of the better teams in the area. They get the win.
I'll go with Skyline as well. Dallas South Oak Cliff versus Ennis.
Another great matchup. I'm going to go with South Oak Cliff. I think they have a few more weapons on offense to get by a good Ennis team.
Give me Sock as well. Argyle versus Texarkana Liberty Liu.
Impressive win for Argyle over Kennedale, able to wear them down with Nick Ralston in the rushing game. I think they advanced to the semifinals.
Got Argyle as well. We talked about this in a little bit at the beginning. Shallow Water versus Brock.
Brock.
Give me the Cinderella story, Brock. And then we have some TAPS state final action. Bishop Dunn versus Plano Prestonwood.
I'll go with Prestonwood.
I'm going to go with Dunn in that one. Parish Episcopal versus Dallas Christian.
Episcopal.
I'll go with Dallas Christian in that one. And TC Cedar Hill versus the Bay Area Christian.
Bay Area Christian.
I'm going to go with Trinity Christian Cedar Hill. They've had a great season all year with a great program. Go out and check out some of these playoff games. Come back to DFWVarsity.com for the best stats and recaps. We'll see you next week on the High School Huddle.